Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So we continue from where we ended, but before we can continue, we just revise a bit on endoplasmic reticulum. Just anyone to tell me the two types of endoplasmic reticulum that we discussed in the previous lesson? Anyone?
We have the rough.
We have the rough what?
The rough endoplasmic reticulum and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum.
No, great. Anyone to tell me anything that we discussed about the rough endoplasmic reticulum specifically? Okay, which one of the two is the protein, is the site of protein synthesis?
The smooth endoplasmic reticulum.
What?
The smooth endoplasmic reticulum.
Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is the site of protein synthesis, you say?
Yes.
No, you've confused the two. Remember what we had discussed on the smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum. We said the rough endoplasmic reticulum is also, first we mentioned that it started with the 80 ribosomes, and it is also the site of protein. Mute your mic, please. Mute your microphones. Thank you. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, we are able.
Okay, thank you. We continue. Please avoid unmuting your microphones if you do not have a question or a contribution to make, because there's really a bad feedback coming in the background. So I was saying, we discussed something about the rough endoplasmic reticulum to say it started with the 80 ribosomes, hence making it the site of protein synthesis. Then about the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, we said it is also a site of lipid and steroid synthesis. Microphone again. Please mute your microphone if you have a question. Thank you. Okay, so what else? I hope I've corrected you on that. You almost misplaced the two. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum is where polypeptides are converted into functional proteins and where proteins are prepared for separation. It is also the site of lipid steroid synthesis, not a site of protein synthesis. You get that one? It is only the rough endoplasmic reticulum that is the site of protein synthesis. For the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it is the site of lipid and steroid synthesis and is associated with the Golgi apparatus.
It's okay.
You are clear?
Yeah, I'm clear. Mm-hmm.
And another few differences that we had mentioned mentioned between the two, rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Initially, I didn't want to be showing this page as I was asking questions. And also, I don't know how far you went with the discussion that we had after this lecture about the group. I was expecting to receive a message on WhatsApp, so you guys could have the notes to go through on your own. I don't know how that one worked out. The WhatsApp group.
At the other time,
I beg your pardon?
well, I'm saying, the other time one of us was to have your contact, but I don't think if it took.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm not sure whether the notes were sent to him or not. You're not sure.
Okay, so what we are going to do is the admin of the group should post their number and everyone should get the number of the person who will be representing the class, so that when they get your number, they should text you on WhatsApp. You're going to create a group for both biology and chemistry.
Yeah.
And everyone that is going to text you, you should add them to the group. It will be easier for us to share documents, because as I'm teaching right now, you were all supposed to have this document,
It's
to
true.
go through after and before, even when you know where we're about to go. Thank you. So just remind me, do that. You can post your number so people can start copying it and let them text you on WhatsApp. They introduce themselves, so you keep adding them and we create a group to be using like that. I think it would be easier for communication purposes.
It's okay.
Thank you. Okay, so we proceed. Anyone else, anything to say about the rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum? We had taken so much time on this. We had discussed a lot of points. I expected people to have ideas, to just have a few things to mention here and there, differences, similarities. Okay, someone to tell me, what is one common function of both endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum? Smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum. What is there? Just this one common function in the cell. Anyone?
I think they both involve in transportation of substance.
Exactly. Excellent. Excellent. They both transport materials throughout the cell. They are both involved in the transportation of materials in and out of the cell. Brilliant. So we talked about the Golgi.
Hello?
Yes, please.
What about the synthesis? What about the synthesis of materials in the cells?
The
Hello?
synthesis. Yes. What's your question?
What about the synthesis? I mean, you've talked of common function of the rough and the smooth.
Yes, yes.
What of if I say that they both involve in the synthesis of materials?
Excellent. It is also a correct common function, because they both do the synthesis processes. The other one does protein synthesis. The other one synthesizes lipids and steroid. So it is also one of the common function, which is the digestion. Synthesizing is more like digesting as well. So they both digest or synthesize materials. That's a great one. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other point before we proceed? Okay, I guess we can proceed and just look a bit on the Golgi apparatus. There wasn't much here to say, but they are linked to the endoplasmic reticulum, like we had discussed last time. The Golgi apparatus is the processing packaging, and secreting organelle of the cell. So it is much more common in glandular cells. Golgi apparatus is a system of membranes made of flattened sac-like structures called cisterna. We had discussed this. I'm just, briefly running you through so you can connect with where we're about to get. I had mentioned this one, just the way its structure from what we are seeing here. This is its structure. You are seeing my zooming. Are you seeing clearly my zooming?
Yeah.
Yes. That's the structure of the Golgi apparatus. Then there was also a point that was clearly mentioned to say it works closely with the smooth endoplasmic reticulum to modify proteins for export by the cell. So it helps, in separating, packaging, before exporting or secreting anything from the cell. It is going to help with modifying, the changes that has to be made. This has to be secreted in this package. No wonder it's saying it's the processing, packaging, and secreting organelle of the cell. So it works hand in hand with the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, where the lipid and steroid synthesis take place.
So there is no sound.
Sorry about that. At the network cut, I didn't even realize I was disconnected. Sorry about that. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, we are able.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we continue. I was just doing the revision of what we had discussed on the previous lecture. So we proceed. We were supposed to start cytoskeleton, which is one of the, of course, the organelles in the cell. So we proceed from the lysosomes. On the lysosomes, we discussed a few points where there was a question about malaria. I remember explaining on the protozoa, the relation to Protoctista, because it's under protozoa, and its ability to engulf bacteria. I remember explaining that point as well. I don't know if you also remember. Then cytoskeleton, that's where we start today. So cytoskeleton being a part of the cell organelles, just as your body depends on your skeleton to maintain its shape and size. Remember, I had mentioned about the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm as a cysto. Cysto is the pigment, how would I, the part of the cell, in the cell, where all these organelles swim. It is called the cysto. So the combination of that cysto plus the organelles makes up the cytoplasm. So we are now discussing the entire structure of that, which is called the cytoskeleton. So they say, just as your body depends on your skeleton to maintain its shape and size, so a cell needs structures to maintain its shape and size. In animal cells, which have no cell wall, an internal framework called the cytoskeleton maintains the shape of the cell and helps the cell to move. Pay extra attention to this point. The function of cytoskeleton. They are saying, just as your body depends on your skeleton to maintain its shape and size, so a cell needs structures to maintain its shape and size. In animal cells, which have no cell wall, an internal framework called the cytoskeleton maintains the shape of the cell and helps the cell to move. So this cytoskeleton consists of two structures, which are microfilaments, or rather contractile, microtubules. With microtubules, you can, they are rigid holotubes made of tubuline. This is their structure, and these structures help them fulfill their function: locomotion, movement. So microfilaments, they are made of actin and are common in mortal cells. What they mean, they are common in mortal cells, cells that moves a lot. One of the examples of cells that one can give me that really has to do a lot of movements. Anyone? Any of the cells that you know?
We have the sperm cell.
Thank you. That is a very good example. Sperm cells, of course, they have to do a lot of movements until they reach the site of fertilization. Any other? Okay, so in details, microtubules have three functions. One is to maintain the shape of the cell. The second one is to serve as tracts of organelles to move along within the cell. Tracts of organelles to move along the cell. So it forms that shape and gives boundaries to how those organelles in the cytosol move. This is the specific functions of microtubes on the cytoskeleton. So the cytoskeleton we are describing as these two structures that we are talking about here. The microfilaments, which helps in movements. And we have the microtubules, which is now helping in maintaining the shape of the cell to serve as tracts for organelles to move along within the cell. They form the centriole. The centriole, here they have even introduced it. It is also one of the cell organelles. Centriole. So this consists of two bundles of microtubes at right angles to each other. Two bundles of microtubules at right angles to each other. Each bundle contains 9 tubes in a very characteristic arrangement. At the start of mitosis and meiosis, these are the two different processes of division of cells. For those who are not familiar with these terms, the mitosis, meiosis, the centriole divides and one half moves to each end of the cell, forming the spindle. The spindle fibers are later shortened to put the chromosomes apart. So the centriole, it has a role to play in the nucleus where there is the DNA. You remember where we mentioned the DNA. We are together.
Yes, we're together.
Yes. So further, we talk about the other structures of the cell that helps it move and the functions, what they do. This is the cilia and flagella. Cilia and flagella are structures that project from the cell. They're like extension. They project from the cell where they assist in movement. They're like tails or little tiny legs. Cilia, singular, it's a cilium, are short and numerous hair-like. Flagella, singular, it's flagellum, are much longer, fewer, and a whip-like arrangement that is characteristic. They've even shown the diagram here, the cross-section through cilium. Central microtubules there, protein arms. If you remember what they're showing us here, in the cell membrane, where we were discussing this term, we're discussing the movement of proteins, the movement of materials in and out of the cell, and how the membrane is helped to open and close for the movement of materials in and out. How that process is made possible with its structure. Remember, we had the tail, the leg. These are the same structures that we are looking at here. This. So we proceed. The cilia and flagella of all eukaryotes are always in 9+2 arrangement. That is characteristic according to the diagram that we have here. Then Protoctista commonly use cilia and flagella to move through water. Remember, the protozoa, water-related, mosquitoes, I hope you're able to connect this.
Yes.
Yes. So Protoctista commonly use cilia and flagella to move through water. Sperm use flagella. Are you getting the difference? Protoctista commonly use cilia and flagella to move through water. Sperm use flagella. So sperm cells use flagella. Many all fused together. Flagella, many all fused together to swim to the egg. Cilia line our trachea and bronchi, moving dust particles and bacteria away from the lungs. So you see the same cilia projection of the cell, they line along our trachea. You know what a trachea is, right?
Yeah.
And our bronchi. They help moving the dust particles because they are like hair. They are like numerous hair-like, projections. So they help dust out particles and bacteria from the lungs. That is one of their functions in the lining of the trachea and bronchi. We understand?
Yes.
Before I could proceed, the cilia and flagella projections that we were talking about, from the first structure that I showed you of the cell, they were, let me just show you what these are. Okay. There was a structure.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I don't get the sound. I don't get the sound.
Sorry, I was disconnected again. The network is really bad. Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. The network is really bad, so it keeps cutting. So I have to join again. So I was trying to show you the flagellum. Are you able to see the long thing that looks like a tail?
Yes.
No,
Yes,
sir.
this
Me,
is
I'm
what
not seeing here.
you're not able to see.
Yes.
How come? We else can't see.
We are seeing.
Okay. Are you still having
Okay.
difficulty? You can see now.
No. Yeah, I can see now.
Okay. So you're able to see the long projection out of the cell. That looks like a tail.
Yes.
Yes. That's a flagellum. The one that we are discussing. Yes. So I was just taking you back to have that one discussed. Okay. We were here and we just got finished with that. Just a minute. I'll just okay, so we are supposed to have a break for 30 minutes.
Now, before a break, I just have
Yes. Okay.
I have a question concerning cilia and flagella. You have told us their air in structure.
Yes. There are two. One is let me go back to the one is hair-like structure.
Yeah.
Yes, and the other
I'm talking of the one which is air-like in structure.
yes, the one that's also aligned in the trachea and bronchi.
Yeah. So my question is, how
Okay.
is this airy? You're getting me?
Yes, I'm able to get
Being that it is airy, how is it adapted to its function?
the hair,
The air.
the cilia, you mean?
Yeah, the cilia.
How does it adapt to its function?
Being that it is airy, yeah.
The same structure it is. It's a projection from the cell. So what it does, they're like hair. You know, it's like a brush. I should say. Should I say a brush? No.
It's okay.
Okay, a brush. Yes, a brush like. But let's just assume those tiny strings in the brush are softer, like they're soft.
It's okay.
Yes. So having such projections helps it to move dust particles and bacteria away because they're like hair-like. So they move. Even when you cough, they vibrate like that.
It's okay.
Yes. No wonder they're saying they are hair-like projection structure. They are short and numerous. They are a lot and short. And they are aligned along your trachea and bronchi.
It's okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know if you are able to do just a quick one with the area suggested plan of posting your contact, or maybe we can do that later. First, we have a break.
It's okay. Let's do it later.
Okay. All right, then we can have a 30 minutes break.
It's okay.
Yes, then we return at 14.
Hello?
14,
Hello?
10, I think.
At what time are we returning?
Yes. Nicholas?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Nicholas.
Mr. Hagai,
1410. Hello? Yes, 1410.
Okay,
Wait.
okay, Mr. Agai.
What was your question?
Mr. Agai.
Yes, yes.
Yes. If we come at 1410, which means some of us
Oh,
want
sorry. I just, I'm looking at time right now. I think my time wasn't. Thank you for the correction.
Yes.
Yes. So, I think I think we can proceed now and end at 1340. Then we continue at 1410. Though people have already started leaving. So I think we can just make it quick with the 30 minutes from now. So that would be, this is 13. Okay, so we are back at 10, we proceed. Because initially we were supposed to have a break at 1340 1340 for 30 minutes and continue at 1410. Now since some people have already left, so we just resume at 1330.
1830?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Agai.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
Olabo, nadie lambo na pokane na embe tiende dong kati olabo kama.
Hello.
Nggak tahu wewe.
Anu mara ta magetu. Tan gue monde sare. Kuro kedengar belas tuh jauh gue. Belas tuh gini aku mau bilang belas tuh gini kan aja konyol kan bodoh nih.
People are leaving, man. Jiromu 1430.
Gini nonyo mau lah kemana
Fourteen
gitu
thirty.
dari.
Tanya tadi.
1404.
Don't leave, bro.
Don't leave.
Nana nama tidak lah kore. Mau nampi.
1430 mana cek?
Man.
Jadi follow.
All right. Yes.
Recording.
Okay.
Try to pause, sir.
No, there's no option for pausing.
No. Oh. Okay. I'm recording. Try to pause, sir.
Okay, I've done that.
So you have paused it. Okay, here it's showing recording still.
Oh.
Okay.
There.
I think maybe as a co-host, you cannot do it. No problem. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bradley.
So
Okay, I've started recording, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you. Are you able to see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so we're done on cilia and flagella. We starting here on the plant cell structure. We are almost concluding the cell. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So here we proceed, just as I was saying about the cell organelles. So here is just I would say it's a bit of a revision of most of the parts that we've discussed, and just a brief information almost about everything that we had mentioned. Then beneath we have a comparison and a table showing structures. So most of the organelles, other parts of the cell, are common to all eukaryotic cells. Cells from different organisms have even greater difference in structure. So here we are coming to to distinguish between the two types of cells, the eukaryotic cells and the prokaryotic cells. Plant cells have three additional I'm back. My network is really bad. It keeps cutting. Sharing the screen. Are you able to see the screen? Are you able?
Yes.
All right, all right, we continue. So yes, I was on the primary cell wall. I was explaining, while a plant cell is being formed, a medulla lamella made of pectin is formed, and the cellulose cell wall develops between the medulla lamella and the cell membrane. As the cell expands in length, more cellulose is added, enlarging the cell wall. When the cell reaches full size, a secondary cell wall may form. So the secondary cell wall forms only after a cell reaches its full size. Secondary cell wall, lignified. The secondary cell wall is formed only in woody tissue, mainly xylem. Remember, we are discussing the plant cell. The secondary cell wall is stronger and waterproof. And once a secondary cell wall forms, a cell can grow normal. It is dead. This is what it means when a cell has a secondary cell wall. Still on the plant cell. So we proceed. Vacuoles. The most prominent structure in plant cells is, mind you, we are discussing a plant cell here. This is a plant cell in specific that we're discussing. Vacuoles. The most prominent structure in plant cells is the large vacuole. The vacuole is a large membrane-bound sac that fills up much of most plant cells. This will be one of the structures that will help you to identify that this is a plant cell. You will just look at how large the vacuole is. The vacuole is a large membrane-bound sac. It almost fills up most of the plant cells. That's how large it is. The vacuole serves as a storage area and may contain stored organic molecules as well as inorganic ions. Please mute your microphone. Please mute your microphone. Please, someone to help me mute those that can't mute themselves. The people that were made to be co-hosts, help me mute the people, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we proceed. So they're saying the vacuole serves as a storage area in the plant cell. Remember, this is the plant cell we are talking about. So vacuoles serve as a storage area and may contain stored organic molecules as well as inorganic ions. The vacuole is also used to store waste. So it's not just a storage area of organic molecules as well as inorganic molecules, it also stores the waste coming out of the cell, the plant cell. Since plants have no kidney, they convert waste to an insoluble form, then store it in their vacuole until autumn. So you see this is a plant cell. If it was going to be in a human, in an animal cell, we know what happens to the toxin. They are processed, of course. by our kidneys, have them secreted and all that. But since these are plants, this is how it's done. The vacuum will store the waste. Plants have no kidney. They convert, what they do, they convert waste to an insoluble form. Insoluble form, so that this waste cannot dissolve in the plant cell. So it will be converted in an insoluble form and then store it in their vacuum. The vacuums of some plants contain poisons, e.g. tannins, that discourage animals from eating their tissues. Whereas the cells of other organisms may also contain vacuums, they are much smaller and are usually involved in food digestion. So in animal cells, vacuoles almost fill up the whole part of the plant cell. Why? It also serves as a storage area for organic molecules and inorganic ions. Not just that, it is also a storage area for wastes. How these wastes are stored is that they are turned into insoluble form, then store them in their vacuums until autumn. Remember, these are organelles in a plant cell. So we have the cell, the cellulose cell wall, we have the vacuole that we're just from talking about, then we have chloroplast. These which we are discussing are these two, the cellulose cell wall, these three, the chloroplast, a central vacuole. So now we are talking about the chloroplasts. A characteristic feature of plant cells is the presence of plastids that make or store food. The most common of these, some leaf cells only, are chloroplasts, the site of photosynthesis. So let's understand this. These chloroplasts, we have what we call chlorophyll, something that is commonly, of course, used, and we are obviously exposed to that. Chlorophyll, the green pigment that is mostly found in plant, leaves. So here they are saying chloroplasts, a characteristic feature of plant cells is the presence of plastids that make or store food. The most common of these, some leaf cells only, are chloroplasts, the site of photosynthesis. So we realize that chloroplast is also a site of photosynthesis in plant cells, because plant cells, of course, undergo photosynthesis. Where? Chloroplast. Each chloroplast encloses a system of flattened membranous sacs called thylakoids, which contain chlorophyll. You understand? Each chloroplast encloses a system of flattened membranous sacs. They've even shown us that there's a structure here. Are we together? Are we together?
We are together.
Thank you. Yes. You're able to see this structure?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, we
So
can
they
see
are
it, sir.
showing us. Yes. So they are showing us the chloroplast membranes. So we have the inner membrane, the one which looks reddish, then the green one, the outer membrane. Then inside we have the thylakoid. Then the aqueous space there, the aqueous space, stroma, that's what it's called. Then it has those granum stack of thyloids, the thylakoids. the way they are like packed, if you can see, they're like rings on top of each other. So that was a 3-dimensional model of chloroplast membranes. So we proceed. So each chloroplast encloses a system of flattened membranous sacs called thylakoids, which contain chlorophyll. The thylakoids are arranged in stacks called grana. The grana there, here, grana. So they're saying the thylakoids are arranged in stacks called grana. The space between the grana is filled with cytoplasm like stroma. So stroma, the aqueous space, serves as cytoplasm. The way cytoplasm is in animal cells. Now in plant cells, it's called stroma. Chloroplasts contain DNA and 70s ribosomes and are semi-autonomous organelles. Someone to remember and help us what this term means. Semi-autonomous organelles. Anyone? Anyone?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, the information in your screen links on one side. Can you please at least let it be in the center?
It's not centered.
Yeah, it's not centered.
Oh, I think it's just the synchronization of the screen. Mine is already centered. So try to refresh. It's going to come back. Mine is centered as I speak right now. Is it centered now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Anyone else? Are you also not seeing a centered screen? Anyone else?
My screen is centered.
Okay. So I think just try to refresh your screen. You like open it back and forth, then it might just be on the current the current page. Okay. We proceed. So other plastids to reddish orange pigments that color petals, fruits, and some leaves. So they've shown us how a chloroplast, a 3-dimensional model membranes looks like there. And then we come to multicellular organization. Here we are going to understand how from a cell we come to a tissue, organ, and organ system level. So they are saying in a unicellular organism, one cell carries out all the functions of life. In contrast, most cells in a multicellular organisms are specialized to perform one or a few functions more efficiently. Because of the cell specialization, the cells of multicellular organs depend on other cells in the organisms for their survival. So here we have tissue, organs, and organ systems. After looking at this, you'll be able to differentiate which one is a tissue, which one is an organ, and which one is an organ system. In most multicellular organisms, we find the following organization: cellular level, That's the smallest unit of life capable of carrying out all the functions of living things. This is the one we were discussing. We're talking about the cells. That's the cellular level. But multiple cells can still form a tissue. Remember, the smallest unit of life capable of carrying out all the functions of living things. That's the cellular level. Then tissue level, a group of cells. You understand? At cellular level, only the smallest unit of life capable of carrying, that's a cell. That's a cell. Now, a group of cells, that's a tissue now. That's a tissue level. A group of cells that performs specific functions in an organism. Now, that's a tissue. Who can give me an example of any tissue that they know?
Blood.
Yes, blood is a tissue because it's made up of multi cells, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the cells that you know, or rather components of blood that you know makes up blood as a tissue?
We have the red blood cell.
Yes.
The white blood cell, the plasma.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you see, it's a tissue because it has a multiple of cells. That's a very good example of a tissue that we can look at. So at tissue level, we have a multiple of cells that are going to perform a specific function in an organism. So at the organ level, several different types of tissue that function together for a specific purpose. No, that's the organ. That's the organ level. Several different types of tissues. We're going to have different types of tissues. Of course, there'll be blood. Of course, there'll be other things. There'll be other tissues that will have to function together for a specific function. We have span of organ that we can talk about. We have a heart. That's an organ. A lung. That's an organ. Any other organ anyone can give me? But from the ones that I've mentioned?
What of kidney?
What?
Kidney.
Kidney, yes, that's an organ. So are you able to differentiate between a tissue and an organ?
Yeah.
You're able to differentiate?
Yes.
So tell me just maybe two differences or one between a tissue and an organ.
Tissue.
Any difference that you know? Anything that distinguishes the two? A tissue and an organ? Okay. Yeah, just a few simple differences that you can make just from the description I was giving here. So, you know, cells, multiple cells makes up a tissue. Multiple cells that performs a specific function in an organism makes up a tissue. And then several different types of tissue that function together for a specific purpose. So tissues are making up an organ. For example, we can talk about the heart. There's blood there. What else? There are other tissues. There are other cells in there. We can talk about the kidney. We can talk about the lung. So we understand multiple tissues functioning together for a specific purpose makes up an organ. So we come at the organ system level. before we can go any further, how many organ system do you know, or anyone to give me a few? Let's participate, please. Organ systems. I'll give an example. One is a respiratory system in a human being. What
Digestion system.
Okay, that's GIT, digestion system. Which other system? The central nervous system. Any other person?
Circulatory system.
Yes, thank you. Any other systems?
Circulatory system.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Correct. We also have cardiovascular system. Okay, so that's a system to do with the heart. So at the system level, organ system level, you're going to discover that several organs are working together to perform a function. Just like on the respiratory system, we have lungs, we have a lot of things. We have the trachea, we have the bronchi, we have a lot of organs and parts of the body trying to perform just one specific function that's helping you to breathe in and out, the air passage. You know, this is over the organ system level. So we're talking about organs, we're talking about tissues working towards one specific function in an organism, hence making up an organ. Now we're talking about an organ or several types of organs working together for a specific purpose, making up an organ system, just like we have GIT, digestion system, cardiovascular system, central nervous system. We have these organs working together. So several organs working together to perform a function. A different organ system in a multicellular organisms interact to carry out the process of life. So we proceed. Here they've actually shown us we have a tissue. From a tissue, we have an organ. From an organ, we have an organ system. So back to the tissue. What's making up this tissue before you can forget? This is a multiple number of cells performing their specific functions. Smallest unit of life capable of carrying out all the functions of living things, and hence coming up with a tissue. From a tissue, coming up with an organ system. So plants also have tissue and organs. Are you listening? Away from the human, from the animal cell and humans, plants also have tissue and organs, although they are arranged somehow differently from those of animals, e.g. vascular tissue. The 4 plant organs. These are the 4 plant organs that we have. We have the roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. These are the organs of plants. Whilst in humans, we have the heart, lungs, kidney, and the list goes on. So here, colonial organization. So a colonial organization is a collection of genetically identical cells that live together in a closely connected group. Many of the cells of the colony carry out specific functions that benefit the whole colony. Colonial organisms, e.g. sponges, coral, appear to straddle the border between a collection of unicellular organisms and a true multicellular organism. They lack tissues and organs, but do exhibit the principle of cell specialization. So here we have something to help us. So we have organelles from the other side, cell organelles, location, as in where they are found, then a description and their functions. So we look closely. So we have an organelle, cell wall, then we have their location, description, and their functions. So cell wall, they are found in plant cells, not in animal cells. Pay attention to this table. All the information that we've been discussing, here you're able to, distinguish and separate this from that, where this is found, where that is found, the function of this and that. So we are saying cell wall as an organelle of the cell, its location, it's only found in plant cells. That's I'm on my first table, first line. Cell walls are found in plant cells, not in animal cells. The description of a cell wall is an outer layer, rigid, strong, stiff, made of cellulose. Those were the ones we were discussing, the cellulose cell wall of plants. Remember, we are told it had two types of cell walls. And the second type only forms when the plant can no longer grow further and it's dead. That's when we have the second cell wall of the plant cell. And then the function of this cell wall in a plant cell, it supports growth, protection, allows water, oxygen, carbon dioxide to pass into and out of the cell. And all this, they'll be needed photosynthesis to take place. Then we have the cell membrane. Cell membrane. Wait. Is there a question? Proceed. Are we together?
Yes, we are together.
Yes, okay. So we proceed. Cell membrane as an organelle. Cell membrane as an organelle, it is found in both plant and animal cell. Pay attention. The cell membrane, the other inner layer, inside cell wall, the other inner layer of the cell. So cell membrane is found both in plant cells and animal cells. Then the description is plant inside cell wall. For the plants, it's the inside cell wall. That's the cell membrane. And then for the animals, it's an outer layer because the animal cells, they do not have the cell wall. So the cell membrane for the animal cells, it's the outermost layer. It's the outer layer, cholesterol, selectively permeable. That's the cell membrane in an animal cell. Its function is that support, protection, controls movements of materials in and out of the cell barrier between cell and its environment. It also maintains homeostasis in the cell. So we come on the nucleus. All these organelles that we are looking at, we've talked about them, we've discussed them specifically one on one. So now we are on nucleus. Nucleus is found both in plant and animal cells. Then description, it's large, oval. Then function controls cell activities. Nucleus controls the cell activities in both plants. Then we have the nuclear membrane. Both plant and animal cells, they have the nuclear membrane. The description surrounds nucleus selectively permeable.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, please, go ahead. Are we together? I thought that was a question. Hello? Hello? Are you able to see the screen? Please mute your mic. Okay, I proceed. Please, one of the co-hosts, help me mute that mic. Thank you. Nuclear membrane. Both plant and animal cells have the nuclear membrane. Description is that this surrounds nuclear selectively permeable. It's like a capsule. It's like an envelope, like membrane for the nucleus. Then its function is that it controls movement of the materials in and out of the nucleus as a membrane in the cell. Then cytoplasm. We have the cytoplasm in both plant and animal cells. How is the cytoplasm like? Remember I mentioned this is the aqueous environment in the cell. So it's clear, thick, jelly-like material and organelles found inside the cell wall. Remember, the cell membrane. Remember I had mentioned to say cytoplasm is the aqueous matter, the jelly-like material where all these organelles swim in. And together, the organelles and the cytosol makes up cytoplasm. The organelles I'm talking about are the nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, all those organelles. They swim there. So the organelles plus the cytosol makes up the cytoplasm, because the other plasma part of the aqueous space in the cell where these organelles swim, it's called the cytosol. So that plus the organelles makes up the cytoplasm. So clear, thick, jelly-like material and organelles found inside cell membranes. That's a description of the cytoplasm. And the functions is that it supports and protects cell organelles, of course. It protects cell organelles to keep them in the atmosphere, the recommended environment with temperatures and all, because this is the environment where all these organelles swim in the cytoplasm, the cytosol. Endoplasmic reticulum, it's found in both plant and animal cells. And then the description of endoplasmic reticulum is the network of tubes or membranes. The common function, it carries materials through cell. It carries materials through the cell. The ribosomes, they are found both in plant cells and animal cells. The description is that their small bodies free or attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. This is the ERA you're looking at. And let's remember the ribosomes that are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. That endoplasmic reticulum is called, who can tell me? The endoplasmic reticulum that is attached with the ribosomes, it's called?
Hello.
Yes, please.
ATS ribosomes.
What?
ATS ribosomes.
Okay, those are the type of ribosomes that are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. Now I'm asking, thank you for that. And now my question is, what do we call the endoplasmic reticulum that is attached with the same 80s ribosomes?
Is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum?
No. The endoplasmic reticulum that is attached with the 80s ribosomes studded to it. What do we call that type of endoplasmic reticulum? What is it called?
Polysomes.
No. It's actually, there are just two types of endoplasmic reticulum. And the one that is attached with the 80s ribosome is the one that I wanted. So I don't know where you missed it, but you're almost there. Close to the answer when you said the first, you said the other type, but it's the other type. I don't want to say it.
We have the one 70 and the one which is
The
80.
rough endoplasmic.
Correct. The endoplasmic reticulum that is attached with the ribosomes, it's the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the 80s ribosomes. Yes. And the functions of these ribosomes, they produces proteins because anyone to tell me why its function as ribosomes is that they produce proteins? Why is that? What qualifies ribosomes to produce proteins? Anyone to think through with that?
Polypeptides.
What?
Polypeptide.
No, my question is,
Yes.
what qualifies ribosomes? Or to say, the point says, one of the functions of ribosomes, they produces proteins. So I'm asking to say, what is it about ribosomes that its function is to produce proteins? Where is the site of protein synthesis in the cell?
Energy cells.
Protein synthesis in the cell? Where is the site of protein synthesis?
I think it is energy cell.
No, I'm talking about the cell in particular, but among the organelles of the cell, one organelle or more as the site of protein synthesis, and ribosomes, of course. Ribosomes, they synthesize proteins, isn't it?
Yes.
So wherever there are ribosomes, just know there's a site of synthesis for proteins. So no wonder in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, because of the presence of ribosomes, rough endoplasmic reticulum, it's one of the site of protein synthesis because of the presence of the ribosomes that are attached to it, to the endoplasmic reticulum. Understand? Yes. Are we together?
Yeah, we are together.
Yes. So we proceed. We are talking about the mitochondria. So mitochondrion is found both in plant and animal cells. Its description is that it's like a bean shaped, coming from, the word we are used to, beans. It's a bean shaped, the way a seed, the bean, or the way a bean is shaped. That's how a mitochondria is shaped. It's a bean shaped with inner membranes. And the mitochondria as function is it breaks down sugar molecules into energy. It is the site of respiration. Just to review a bit on mitochondria. Tell me the type of cells that needs multiple or numerous mitochondria in it and why. Someone to give me that. A type of cell that will need a lot of mitochondria and why.
You have the heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I think because it
I think
keeps
it is
on.
blood cell.
What?
I was
Go on.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah, perhaps. The reason being because it works 24/7, pumping blood every now and then.
Okay. Okay. So hence it needs a number of mitochondria. Why?
It pumps blood.
It needs those. Yes. There's a point I want you to mention that is involved, that is related to the presence of mitochondria.
Yeah, it requires a lot of energy.
Thank you. Correct. So there is high levels of energy in demand in that part of the organ. Hence, it needs cells with numerous of mitochondria. Why? Because of what mitochondrion does. So mitochondrion there, it works as a powerhouse, breaks down sugar molecules into energy. So there is rapid production of energy from this side. That's where respiration takes place. And cells like muscle cells needs numerous mitochondria. Sperm cells need numerous mitochondria because sperm cells will need to move. And the movement that they have to make, they will need energy. Hence, they'll also need a good number of mitochondria in the sperm cells to help it move. So we proceed, we talk about the vacuole. The vacuole. Plant, they're found in plants, but few. Then large. Then in animals, small, the vacuoles. Sometimes even absent, but they are small in animal cells. But in plants, they are few but large, almost filling up the entire space of the cell in plant cells. Then their description, they are fluid-filled sacs. Fluid-filled sacs, that's their description. And their function is that they store food. Remember I'd mentioned they store food, water, waste. Plants need to store large amounts of food. So someone to tell me how vacuoles, how wastes are stored in vacuoles in plant cells. As from mentioning this point, which state are these wastes stored in vacuoles in plant cells? Anyone? Okay, so I'd mentioned to say the wastes are stored in vacuoles in its insoluble state. Until ultimatum. I'd mentioned this point and I want you to get it clearly. The wastes are stored as insoluble in vacuoles in plant cells so that they cannot dissolve. So they are stored as insoluble. They cannot be processed or digested. Then we have the lysosome. The lysosome. Anyone to remember anything that we had mentioned about the lysosomes? Okay, so lysosomes, we learned the fact that they engulf bacteria. Okay, one of the things they do. And also, they breaks down larger food molecules into smaller molecules. So they help in digestion of cell materials. So lysosomes are uncommon in plant cells, but they are very common in animal cells. So they are mostly found in animal cells. And uncommon in plant cells. Then their descriptions. They are small, round, with a membrane. Their functions breaks down large food molecules into smaller molecules. They also digest odd cell parts. Then lastly, we have the chloroplast, the one we're just from talking about in plant cells. So chloroplast is only present in plant cells, not in animal cells. I repeat, chloroplast is only present in plant cells, not in animal cells. The description of chloroplast is green, oval, usually containing chlorophyll, green pigment. That's a chloroplast. Then the uses of this, or the functions, is that it uses energy from sun to make food for the plant. That's photosynthesis. So it makes food for the plant in the presence of sunlight. We are now defining photosynthesis. So the photosynthesis process, the site of photosynthesis in a plant cell is chloroplast. Understand?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Any question on this or anywhere else?
I have a question. No?
Yes, yes.
Under vacuoles.
Well,
Vacuoles I'm asking, vacuoles are
yes,
made of
yes.
stone and granum.
Yes, yes.
What are the function of stroma and what are the function of granum?
I can't get your question clearly. Ask again.
I'm asking.
You are saying
vacuoles are made of granum and stroma.
vacuous.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
I think you are no.
Under chloroplast.
You are confusing it. Chloroplast. Yes, yes.
Exactly.
Your question is on chloroplast.
Chloroplast.
Yes, yes.
I was asking.
Yes.
What's the function of stroma? At the same time, what's the function of granum?
Okay. So from this structure and the description that were given, because the stroma it just serves as cytoplasm in the cell organelles. This is just the aqueous space. This is the environment where the thylakoid and the granum swim. All this attachment that you are looking in, it has a aqueous.
It's okay.
Hello?
Hello.
We are not getting any sound, please.
Hello. Hello.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I was cut out. I didn't even realize as I was explaining on the Granum. Please confirm. You're able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So you got the explanation, or I was already cut out the time I was explaining to you about stroma.
I got the explanation of stroma.
Okay.
Now granum.
Granum. Okay, so you see the relation, it's not actually one thing. The thyroids, I mean the thylakoids are arranged in stacks. The stack, or rather the way the thylakoids Oh, sorry, my network. I was logged out again. Okay, I hope the explanation was gotten. I think I'll suggest what we had discussed earlier about the number being posted, since we still have participants here, because you need to have this document. I'm going to post my number so you can also add me to the group, and also the number of the person that's going to administrate the group, that will be representing the group, so that people can have it and you can text them. Please.
Yes, yes, I will
Yeah,
texting you.
Yes, so I'm posting my.
It's okay. I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, for our case, we had selected our leaders. So I was preferring if our leaders can do something about that.
Yes.
So that they guide us on what we should do.
Exactly. So this information is actually going to the leaders, because we had mentioned this earlier, to say we should create a WhatsApp group. I was just waiting for a message. Unfortunately, I didn't receive any. So I was thinking, since we have everyone here, can our leaders take note? Please, I'm putting my number. You should add me to the group so I can post the notes, and also put the leaders that were chosen. Post your number so everyone can have it, so they can text you on WhatsApp to be added to the group where I'm going to post the notes, even as we proceed with chemistry.
It's okay.
Yes, I've posted. That's I'm posting my number. Okay. Okay. I hope our leaders are doing that too, because it will be the easiest way. That's my WhatsApp number. I've posted it. Add me to the group so I can share the notes with all of you. Okay. So at next time we meet, we can proceed with chemistry. But I would need you to have the notes and go through thoroughly. So please have this group created today, if possible, so you can have the notes. I'm waiting to see the message for our leader. Okay, if we have any person that can do that, please, any volunteer, so we wrap this up. Okay, I've seen the message.
I think we know.
Okay, Mr. Vincent. Okay, I have gotten your number too. I'm saving it. I'm saving it. Please, everyone, get the number for Mr. Vincent. Text him on WhatsApp. Let him add you to the WhatsApp group is going to create, where the notes will be posted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we are done for today. No, I don't think so. We're supposed to have chemistry, but we are going to continue chemistry next time we met. So our mind can rest for today. So we prepare for chemistry next time we meet. So let's have this group. Our communication will be better. So we can have communication before we even meet for class and the topics that we'll be doing, please. So please get the number that has been posted. Please take note of the contact numbers if possible. Take a screenshot. So you can add a few from here, and those ones that have contact numbers for their colleagues, please link them to the group, as the group will be created in case some people misses this platform. So we all have the document.
Afternoon, sir. Mr. Hagai. Hello. 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 Hello, sir. You know, people are just submitting numbers. You don't know what they I'm sure maybe, oh, so maybe
I'm also worried about this.
Hello, sir.
Like Malim is not around. Huh?
Hello.
I think that's what to send the numbers, not all of us.
Hello, sir. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, my fellow students.
Hello.
Yeah, I think what we should do, our leaders were to send their numbers. Huh? From that point, they were going to add us in the group.
Yeah.
So, I'm worried. It's like everyone is sending his number.
Yes, I think the best way, there need to be a communication because there's only one person who's going to open the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yes. So that person, the one who's supposed to add our numbers so that we can receive the information we need.
Especially the leaders that we're having. We are choosing our leaders.
Yes.
So they should need their number. They should send their number so that whatever remains, they are going to be the people to form the group.
Mr. Elvis.
Hello.
Yes, this is Mr. Nyambe from Zambia.
It's okay.
Yes, we've just logged in. We had a problem of network here.
It's okay.
So we are surprised students are submitting phone numbers here.
We are worried. Huh?
Yeah, I'm worried because it's more like everyone is submitting.
We have been told to tell our leaders to send their number, to submit their numbers, but it's like they're not sending their numbers.
No, I think the best way was the leaders from different countries, they submit the numbers so that they can be added to the WhatsApp group.
Exactly.
Yes, I think that would be easier because here we have got the students, it's just a matter of submitting their numbers, or maybe I also become the admin so that I just add them to the same group. That way it's easier.
I think that's what we should do instead of
Mr. Elvis.
Hello.
Mr. Elvis. Yes. The question is that the Zambia students and the Kenya students, are we going to have one WhatsApp group or we are going to have different WhatsApp group?
I don't know what is going to happen. I think we should talk to the teacher to let us know whether we are going to have same WhatsApp group or we are going to have different from Kenya, Zambia, and wherever.
Yes, if we are going to establish that thing, then we are going to know who is going to open the WhatsApp group. Then we are going to forward our numbers to that person.
Yeah,
Mr. Elvis.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, the best way is since when we are talking about the students, whether Zambian students, Congo, whatsoever, they are just all of them students.
Yeah.
And they are taught by one
teacher.
And the notes are the same. So if the WhatsApp group can be opened, we can combine all the names, there's no problem. Because we are talking about one person, all of them in different countries.
No, I was saying, being that we are coming from different countries, should we open one WhatsApp group? That was a
yes, sir. One WhatsApp group is okay.
It's okay.
Yes, one WhatsApp group is okay. It's just a matter of adding all of them as students.
It's okay. Then,
yes.
Then our leaders should add us.
Hello.
I'm saying.
Yeah, for interaction purposes, it's just okay.